Welcome back to the third and final installment and installation of my DIY floating shelf. And just like the first two videos, this one isn't even half of the build. This shot is great for visualizing how the bracket and shelf are going to come together. You also get to see my beautiful fixture table function as a workbench. Here I'm marking the holes for the screws that attach to the wall studs. I'm going off these barely legible marks that I made earlier, so I'm definitely tempting fate. By the way, if you look closely, you'll notice my watch band matches my t-shirt. Follow me to find out more ways to flex on your haters and look like you know what you're doing.
And that's how you do it. Yep.
Time to weld it together. I attempted to stitch the threads back together, but it didn't make for a good piece of clothing. It actually turned into a pool of molten metal. I decided against fully welding them with the bracket still in the shelf. Smokey the Bear would be proud of me. I was afraid of getting dirty, so I had my niece clean it up for me.
Scrub, scrub. Doo-dee-dum-dum.
I'll go ahead and apologize for my arc shots. After I learn how to weld, I'll make sure to double check my camera settings too. I tried out this zirconia flap disc from Benchmark Abrasives, but I got really bored and just felt like a peasant. I'm now much more classy and demand ceramic abrasives. This particular one was almost dead, but I needed to establish my sophistication for YouTube. Now it's time to center punch the screw holes. I chucked up my Bosch M42 drill bit so I could flex some more. I have affiliate links to all these things in the description and on my website. Right now, I'm creating free content for YouTube to run ads on, and one day, here's some truly rare footage of me using my countersink to actually countersink something. Sometimes, you just have the perfect tool for the job. Now we're back upstairs, and we'll see if those screw marks were relatively close to matching the studs. If you look closely, you'll notice I cheated and ran the screws in to make sure they'd catch the studs. Those things can have a mind of their own sometimes, and they often walk around, strut, and assert their dominance. I'm giving them a tug with my hand to see if they'll flex and make sure the tips are nice and polished. The shelf bracket is now fully erected, attached, and excited. Now we're going to grab and pull the shaft to double team the wooden shelf. Now I'm making sure the shelf is fully mounted, and for good measure, we're going to drill and screw it from the bottom. This will make sure it stays filled up like a bowling ball. I'm drilling through the wood with a larger bit and then swapping to a smaller bit for the bracket. I used the countersink to, once again, countersink a screw. Now it's time to drive in the screw, show off my psoriasis, and realize I failed at eyeballing the pilot drill size. My hole in the metal bracket was too small, and I didn't want to slam it in with the impact driver to try and cover up my mistake. Plus, it would be great to be able to remove the screw and the shelf in the future. And that wraps up my DIY floating shelf bracket. I didn't manage to make it float, but I did hide the shelf bracket, so the project is still a success. Now go check out some of my more interesting videos.